In the 40s, there was very little going on publicly. Of course, there were gay people meeting each other. There were love affairs. But it was all done privately behind locked doors. Harry Hay came up in 1950, wrote a call for seeing gay people as a minority group. And he recruited 7 other people, and it became the Mattachine Society. They developed discussion groups all over the city. And by 1953, beginning of 1953, there were 1,000 gay people meeting on a weekly basis here in Los Angeles. After Stonewall, here around the country, including here in Los Angeles, gay liberation fronts were started. They were radical, indeed revolutionary organizations that were out to fight back against hetero supremacy and to create a community where none had ever existed before. The Gay Liberation Front was first founded by Morris Kite here in August of 1969. The 3 major pillars of hetero supremacy in our culture, and to some extent still today, are the mental health industry. There are still people who are trying to change your orientation to heterosexual. The second one was a government at every level, local, state, federal. We were seen as criminals. And the third pillar of that was religion. With every major religion, we were seen as sinful and as something that needed to be removed, which was what I call intellectual genocide. That is the prelude to physical genocide. And in some places, we were being killed. We were being hounded down. So that we fought back against all 3 of those pillars of hetero supremacy. The Biltmore Rebellion in downtown Los Angeles, a famous hotel in LA, an international conference of behavioral psychologists was held there. Gay Liberation knew about it and attended the meeting. At a certain point when a Professor Feldman from England was talking about changing the orientation of gay men by using electric shock therapy, I got up and seized the microphone from him, and our plan was to divide the entire gathering, several hundred people, into small groups and get them to discuss the ethics, the morality of what they're doing to gay people. And there was 1 or 2 gay liberationists in each of those groups. It went on for about 45 minutes, and then we let them reconvene their conference, and most of the people at that point walked out. It was a turning point because they began to see that they couldn't get away with their hocus pocus anymore. They couldn't get away with trying to make us believe that we were somehow psychopathological. In our bars, it was illegal to touch each other, to show any kind of affection. If there was a vice cop in that bar, we could be arrested on the spot. If I put my arm around somebody, if I kissed somebody on the cheek. And there was no dancing in gay bars. All dancing between men happened in privacy, in private apartments, not in any way public. Gay Liberation started dances every Friday night at a hall on North La Brea in Hollywood, called Troopers Hall, where we had what's called gay funky dances. People of every age, 200, 250 people every Friday night, would show up. And the police would come walking in, walking around the room trying to intimidate us. But they knew if they arrested one of us, they had to arrest all of us. And they backed down, went away from that. The most popular gay bar in LA at that time was something called The Farm on Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood. We planned a touch-in there. At a certain hour, 10 p.m. on a Friday night, we leafleted the bar, letting people know. We were going to ask people to reach out and touch each other. as simple as that might sound. And if the police came, we would continue touching each other. We would stare them down. So at 10 p.m., I shouted out, reach out and touch your brother. Reach out and show affection to the person standing next to you. We could hear, the music went off, the lights went on. We could hear the sirens approaching, 4 or 5 LA sheriff's cars approaching. 4 of them got out and walked through the bar from the front to the back. Now, usually gay people would scatter at that point, but they one of the proudest moments for me of gay men, they kept showing affection to each other. They were not intimidated, and again, they knew that if they arrested one of us, they were going to have to arrest all of us. I started chanting, ho, ho, Ho Chi Minh. GLF is going to win. GLF's Gay Liberation Front. Ho, ho, Ho Chi Minh. GLF is going to win. They walked out, and everybody in the bar started chanting that. They walked out, drove away, the lights went off, the music went on, and never again in a major way. There were 1 or 2 incidents where there were police raids on gay bars. About 6 months later, dancing began in gay bars, and gay people have to dance. Fairies have to dance. We had an office at 577 and a half North Vermont, right where Vermont meets the Hollywood Freeway. Old second floor of a quadruplex. So having an address, having a phone number, being open as a gay organization, not hiding behind closet words, but being open about this is who we are. We needed to have a community center where we took care of each other. Community means we assume responsibility for each other's welfare. It was called the Gay, Openly Gay Community. We were calling ourselves a community for the services designed specifically for gay and lesbian people, and center as a center around which a community could develop. If we look at evolutionary biology, we begin to see that gay people are doing something in society, that heterosexuals are responsible, primary responsibility is the survival of the reproductive survival of our society. Gay people don't have that role, and we never have. And yet we've always been around. Since the beginning of written records, there are records of us being there. So for thousands of years, we keep reappearing, generation after generation after generation. And we know from evolutionary biology, that doesn't happen unless that's contributing to the evolution of the species. So the question becomes not who you're fucking, but the question becomes, what are you doing in society that makes you so valuable? We carry the cooperation principle in society. And we know from evolutionary biology that cooperation is essential for the evolution of any species. We have what's called an evolution, an open evolutionary system. It's still evolving. And there's a role that gay people are playing in that evolution.